I have some messages that I need to convey to you, and I feel like this video might run a little bit longer, mainly because the messages are a little bit convoluted. Okay, so I'm going to try my best. And while I'm doing that, we'll get the cards shuffled out for you for this month. So first of all, they mention here very, very strong protection. You have some spirit guides, passed away loved ones from the paternal side of the family who are trying to come into the picture and communicate with you. And one of the messages that came out strongly through this is they're saying that you were given the right preconditions to thrive, to flourish. Once you achieve that apex of your potential, it's almost like some of you are coming into the month of December, almost there, almost at the apex of your ultimate achievement, of your ultimate potential. And so you're meant to be there so that you can also be the catalyst so that other people can thrive, other people can flourish, so that you can uplift people in some way. And I'm also feeling some of you are just like, well, that's not me. I was, given the short end of the stick. I had a lot of responsibilities dumped on me at a very young age. I've had to take care of a lot of people, and I feel like many of you found yourself, at a young age where you were always the responsible one. And because of that, parents expected a lot more from you rather than your siblings. And it almost felt like, it was like double standards, right? And then others, you were always a lot more emotionally more mature than your peers. And so you felt like you had to sit through very tedious, very superficial conversations. And you felt like the friendships just didn't bring you that sense of emotional homecoming, emotional satisfaction, emotional embeddedness. And it can feel very, very lonely being a Virgoan child coming into the world where we feel like we couldn't connect with our siblings. And then going out into, school, into the public space where we feel a little bit like we couldn't connect emotionally with our friends, our peers, people that are in our same age group. And then you find yourself, inevitably as an adult, and in every work environment, you outperform the people around you. And you're like leaps and bounds ahead of them in terms of your personal sense of work ethics, in terms of your personal sense of responsibility. And you might see some people reneging on their responsibilities, but getting ahead in life, reneging on just like cutting corners, or people that talk really big, but when it comes down to how much do they really know, they might not be able to deliver. And you see them succeeding, you see them making strides in their professional life and making, really positive, like professional upgrade. And you're just like, how is all of this fair? And so going back to the first message that I mentioned, you are given the right types of nourishment so that you can grow. And I'm given an image of a tree. And if you think about a tree, it needs to basically get battered left and right by wind, by, inclement weather, by rain, by whatever adversity the universe decides to throw at it, so that it can form a very, very strong, trunk, so that it can form strong limbs, so that it can, continue to thrive and flourish and provide shade for everybody else. And so is it, fair to compare us to the tree? But I feel like the right nourishment is the right amount of love, is the right amount of opposition, is the right amount of challenges, so that you can grow to the most, the optimal human being that you can be. And the right amount of nourishment in your mind has always been love, affection, acceptance, justice, right? Like all of these things that these really high moral ideals that you believe in. But when a life is too smooth, too easy, it can make people very, very complacent, sometimes lazy, sometimes, taking things for granted, kicking up their feet, coasting through life, cutting corners. And who knows, they might still get ahead. But the point here is that you have to really think about what is the right types of nourishment that we can give to another person. Is it all going to be a bed of roses where they have no problems in their life and hope that they won't come out complacent and lazy and, taking things for granted and feeling entitled? Or do we have to throw a little bit of opposition in the mix so that they can they can become somebody who is emotionally strong, physically strong as well, and someone who is able to, be resourceful because of some of the challenges they've had to deal with? Or they could, grow up in the face of opposition. It makes them, or it forces them to be a lot more clear-minded about what they believe in, defending their values, and standing up for integrity and honor, and all of those high moral ideals that you believe in. So, having said that, here's what I'm feeling. I'm sensing that this is a month where you kind of really look at, and really, really look at, where did I come from? What environment did I grow up in? And how has it made me the person that I am today? And then how does that prepare me for the adversity, the challenges, as well as, the career path that I'm supposed to be in? So when I did your reading, I felt like, that astrology wheel. And the fourth house, which is about family, your roots, it's a psychic house. It talks about our insecurities as well, because all of it is, we are ultimately byproducts of our environment, of our childhood conditioning. And then in the opposite spectrum, in the opposite, the polar axis of that is the 10th house, which is your career house, how you make yourself known in the world, how you portray yourself in public, how you want other people to perceive you. And so if there are sore spots in your family sector, you need to take care of them. Otherwise, you're going to spend the rest of your life trying to compensate. So for example, if, there was a very intense, lack of affection in the household, you're going to go through life in your 10th house, not really knowing, how to command, not really knowing how to achieve compassion and respect for the people that you lord over, or the people that work with you, or the people that work for you. There's also, elements of abuse of power. And then likewise, if you're in a home environment where there has been a lot of control and dominance, and I almost feel like they're saying here, ego conflicts and issues of dominance. If we take that energy into the public space, and if we haven't healed from that and we take that into the public space, there is going to be tremendous abuse of power. So I want you to think about these things, okay? And then I'm going to go into the reading now. Think about those things, and we're going to talk about how everything ties in together, okay? So let me talk about you guys. First of all, we have here the Justice card. And I feel like this is not so much about, court cases, legal battles, or anything like that. I feel like it deals more with the way that you believe in justice, okay? I've worked really hard and I deserve this. The other person is cutting corners. They don't deserve a promotion. They don't deserve a pay increase. They don't really deserve, all the good things that are coming their way. So many of you, despite everything that you've been through, despite everything that I mentioned before, this sense of I'm a really good person. Why are bad things happening to me? Or why am I not getting recognized for the work that I do, for my skills, for my assets, for everything that I bring to the table. I feel like there is a sense here that they're reminding you, they're gently reminding you that you're seeing things from your own perspective. You don't know where the other person has been. So for you to say, or for one person to say, that person, they slack off and they don't really deserve it. I feel like maybe they deserve a little bit of leeway. So maybe they need this pay increase, this promotion, a lot more than you do. Maybe they have other things in their lives that are kind of like spiraling out of control. So they really need this one boost of self-esteem. Otherwise, their house of cards would crash. So I feel like it's really important for you guys to hang on, first of all, to these high moral ideals. But at the same time, do not be the person that makes these judgment about who is worth it and who is not. And especially do not turn this judgment, this criticism onto yourself, where you feel like, am I really worthy? Am I really deserving? Because I feel like there is a big element here about you feeling that way. Feeling like very exposed and very vulnerable, uncomfortable in your own skin. Getting yourself into something that you're not emotionally or mentally prepared for. And then doubting your capabilities, doubting your skills. Am I going to float or am I going to sink? Am I going to be able to make it, or are other people going to laugh and mock and ridicule me? Okay, so this energy here, I feel that, the fourth house, like I mentioned, it's a very psychic house, and it deals heavily with, things that we hide from other people, things that make us really uncomfortable. And I feel for many of you, this is being in the limelight, being in the public eye. When you talk, a lot of people are going to be paying attention, being televised, being taken, having people taking pictures of you, and getting a lot of fame and recognition. And when it's in the reverse position, there's this sense about you where you are very, very private about your personal life. You don't want to, take on that Leo quality where you are hogging the stage or you are revealing too much about yourself. So I feel like there is a major fine line here about you guys coming in this month where you have to be, where you find yourself in this position where you really have to, hype up your skills. You have to really sell yourself, and you don't really know how, because your life is all about modesty. It's all about, believing that good things will come to good people. But sometimes we need to give ourselves credit when credit is due, okay? So if you meet somebody new and you want to impress them, you want to land that job, you want to get that loan, you want to get that grant, get that funding, you need to hype up your skills and your assets. You need to stop being bashful. You need to hype up, the adversity. Where have I been? What, situations have I had to overcome to get myself where I am right now? And how much determination I have because I've overcome so much adversity in my life. So do not shy away from everything that made you who you are. Do not shy away from disclosing your past, because in the process of disclosing your past, even if something is might have been very painful, I feel like it's a very healing process, and it will allow you some insight, some wisdom into why things had to happen the way that they happened. They happened because you needed to have that sense of adversity at that age so that it can shape you to be who you are today. So I honestly feel like, this is a month where if you don't believe in magic, if you don't believe in, everything happens for a reason, you're going to come out of this month, and especially the third, you're going to come out of it thinking, I'm still alive and life is great and, everything is magical. And so I feel like there is a fairy tale ambiance that is happening through this entire Mercury retrograde cycle. You're going to come out of it with all the fog lifted, questions that were unanswered, things that were very unclear, people deceiving you, things that you might have felt like there's something up, but I can't really put my finger on it. All of that is going to clear up, and you're going to know exactly what happened and where you stand with people. So we're coming, out of this Mercury retrograde cycle with a lot more clarity, with a lot more, I want to say, insight into other people. Why did this person say it like this? Why did this other person not say anything? Who are my allies? Who's there for you? Who's telling the truth? Who has my, who is supporting me, and who's really, working against me? Who do I need to leave behind, and who is really showing their true colors? So I definitely feel that, you are a really, really good judge of character. You do give people the benefit of the doubt, but I know that many of you are very good observers. You pick up nuances in social interactions. You pick up nonverbal cues from people when you interact with them. And you always have really strong intuition about people because you have an eye for detail. But a lot of the times, the self-doubt, I could be wrong. I saw this, but I could be wrong. Or I felt this, but I could be wrong. Listen to your intuition, because I feel like it's never failed you in the past. It's helped you survive some very perilous situations in the past. It helped you navigate things. It helped you find things when you needed resources, but resources were not available. Okay? So moving forward, I'm going to talk about a few more things. I apologize for the noise in the background. First of all, this is a card about self-employment here. So for those of you who are thinking about changing a career path, or, at least like segueing into a career path where you can expand your business, be a business owner, start a home-based business, or even start collecting clients. So in order to start your own business, recruiting people, getting, even funding for some type of a home-based business, or to start up something. Startup comes to mind. So I feel like it could be technology. And I feel like for those of you who are not heavily, technological, you might need to employ other people to work under you. And these people have the technological know-how, and so they're working under you. And it can feel very, very scary when you're not an expert in your field and you're trying to venture into that field, and you have to delegate responsibilities to other people. And they're experts in their field, but you're overseeing the work, and you might not, know 100% everything that's happening. So that process of like having trust and faith that the other person is going to do their, uphold their end of the bargain and do the job properly, I feel like it's still very, very scary. So I feel some of you who are business owners, you're contracting out your work. You're hiring new people, you're overseeing the new people doing the work for you, and it can be very, very uncomfortable. And you're kind of battling yourself to not micromanage, because you know that, micromanagers are not very well liked. And then you also know as well that if you breathe down their shoulders, they're going to be resentful, they're going to be up in arms. But you also know that you have to give them, incentives for them to work fast. You also know that you can't give them way too much leeway, because then they're going to feel like they're self-employed and they're going to work at their own pace. So trying to find this middle ground where we don't micromanage other people, but we don't at the same time become an absentee boss and just let the workers run the ship. I feel like it's a very, very fine line, and some of you need to find a way to rectify the situation. And I would say that, the best policy overall is to be very strict in the hiring process. Who you bring on board, do they have good recommendations? Doing that to begin with is going to save you a lot of trouble. So you're in the process of experimenting, and I feel like it's kind of like at the later stages of this process of experimentation, because you've already got some things finalized and you're already on track to recruiting possibly the best of the best and people that you trust. So I feel like there will be a lot of opportunities for collaboration. I feel that there will be opportunities, for leisure time, mainly because other people are doing the work. And you're not going to be terribly busy, so you definitely have enough time to start a new venture, to start a new business, to do something on the side to create money for you. Look into the stock market, look into, investment opportunities, and, studying something that you've wanted to undertake but didn't have the time in the past, okay? So moving into this month, there is going to be a major, major change and a major overhaul in your financial situation. We have here the Four of Pentacles and an Eight of Pentacles right on top of each other. So this is kind of like releasing something that is very security oriented, something that we were very, very fearful to let go because we feel like, what's the alternative? Once I let this go, what else is going to be in store for me? Am I going to be the same? And in the process of letting it go, I feel like there's a doubling in income. So for some of you, this could also be like mortgages, selling property, selling things that you don't need, putting things even online, and getting rid of things that are really, clogging up your life, that are really bogging you down emotionally and physically, okay? Getting rid of things. So I do feel like a huge income jump here. So if you are adamant about, looking for work, because this is all about sending pieces of yourself out into the universe, either through resumes, through CVs, through some type of, especially online nowadays, online job recruitment portals. I do feel that it's going to allow you, the steps to get there so that you can double your income, so that you can achieve a lot more job satisfaction, have a lot more free time, even reducing the amount of hours that you work so that you can work and not feel pressured. So I feel that there is a process here of separation from a specific environment, releasing expectations and, releasing control in a situation. And once you are able to do that, you're going to breathe so much better. You're going to feel this burden, alleviating from your chest, and you're going to feel very, very, very happy and secure, okay? I feel as well, I mentioned earlier, I do feel a very strong maternal, paternal vibe, especially with this Nine of Pentacles. If you are at a point where career and work and money is flowing well, and you don't have to worry about, how you're going to make money, living from paycheck to paycheck, you don't have those concerns anymore. The major concern, I feel, is going to be family related, okay? And you're going to have to also relinquish control. Don't be the one person that comes to everybody else's rescue. When they mess up, let the other person deal with the consequences, okay? This is how we teach accountability, and this is how we teach someone to understand actions and consequences. So this is a card kind of like, control. A lot of the times we intervene, we step in for somebody. It's also because we want to be involved in that situation. We want to control the outcome in that situation. And we also have this, this latent inability to trust that the other person can do it the right way. So it boils down to control. And once you relinquish that, once you let somebody, step up to the plate, take care of things when they go awry, so that they can work on their problem solving skills, so then they can work on critical thinking skills, so that they can learn to be self-sufficient and to be as well resourceful. It's going to alleviate a lot of burdens for you. So if you've been kind of like that mother hen, if you've been constantly monitoring and taking care of everything, this is a month for you to delegate. This is a month for you to sit down and really think about where you're giving your energy away, because in the process of delegating, in the process of trusting that I'm over here and the other person is in the office working, are they really working? I feel like they're working. You can trust that they're working. And so relinquishing control and allowing the other person to step up and take care of things, I feel like it's a major, it's difficult. And I feel like for some of you, it can bring about a lot of anxiety because you want things done a certain way. And I'm also feeling as well, it's almost like this Aquarian energy, this need to control and this need to have things a very, very, very specific way for no other reason than just because you want it a specific way. And so we have to let go of those irrational methods of behaving. Okay, so we have to let go of these things, and we have to aim for this sense of balance, this sense of harmony as well. That if we trust the other person, if we give them room and space to breathe and to thrive, that they're also going to breathe and thrive. And that pretty much, sums up the first 6 cards here. The second part of this equation here is, it seems to me like in love relationship, there are options on the table. Okay, so we have here the Lovers in the reverse. And the Lovers in the reverse is usually a situation where there are too many people interfering in a love relationship. So you have here a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. And I feel for some of you, this is somebody not approving of your relationship. And they're not disapproving of your relationship for no other reason than because they don't like the relationship. So it can be irrational. And then we have another person. This is a water sign, a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. And I feel like for some of you, this is somebody in your life that is trying to move on. They're trying to exit the picture. And I'm also feeling as well, if you are debating between these two characters, if it's a situation where both of them are involved, I feel like the fire sign might be a more truthful, honest, stable relationship partner. I'm going to go into your love reading in a little bit, but I feel like this reading is very, very loaded, okay? It's loaded with messages, and I feel like it's very, it's forcing you to really think about, some of the things that you have grown up believing about yourself. Are you lovable? Are you worthy of all these good things that are coming to you? And I also feel as well, it's forcing you to re-examine some things in terms of, you've had to deal with a lot of difficulties at a young age compared to your siblings, compared to your peers, like I mentioned. And these are character building life events that shape you into the person that you are right now. And so if there are grudges, with siblings, with family members, if you're holding grudges, you need to let them go. You need to release them, because these people form kind of like a soul contract. They're here to help you get where you are today. They've had to make sacrifices, great sacrifices. And I also feel that they've had to make sacrifices in terms of not being in your good graces. Like they've had to do things that even now you might not like them, you might not speak to them, but they have a soul contract with you to get you where you need to be. And so in the process of fulfilling their soul contract, they might have falling outs with you, and you both might not be talking. You're at a point where you're really, really happy, you're on top of the world, you're elated, and financially you're very secure. And they're at a point where their health is diminishing. If you have these relationships, you need to reconcile, okay? Because they're there to teach you some things. And I feel like in our human forms, we don't always make the best decisions, and we don't always heed our higher intuition, but I feel like there's something more at stake here. And I feel a lot of it has to do with, we needed to experience these things, these relationships, these ways of loving, these ways of behaving at a young age, because they're shaping you into a much stronger person. If you didn't experience the adversity, you might be at this point taking everything for granted, coasting through life, and at the end of your life, having an easy life, but then not having that strength of character that comes with, living a life of adversity. I hope that makes sense for you, Virgos. I feel like you need to hear this message, and so I hope it is helpful. You have a lot of good things coming into the picture, but I feel that we have to rectify some things from our past. We have to set the record straight. We have to heal from some things, okay, so that we can move forward. All right. Best of luck, Virgos. I will talk to you soon. If you're feeling frustrated, wait until the end of the Mercury retrograde cycle. Everything will start to make sense, okay? And especially other people's intentions, okay? So I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.